This is the news in brief from the United Nations. COVID-19 infections rose 8% last week to more than 3.8 million, and the number of new deaths increased in all regions apart from Europe, according to the World Health Organization. Latest data from the UN Health Agency pointed to a substantial uptick in infections in the Americas and the Western Pacific, up 30% and 25% respectively. Regionally, Southeast Asia also reported a 3% increase in infections compared to the previous 7 days. Of the 4 COVID-19 mutations that the WHO has designated variants of concern, the Alpha variant is now present in 182 countries, the Beta strain in 131, Gamma in 81, and the Delta variant is in 132 countries. On the issue of vaccine effectiveness, the World Health Organization cited several laboratory studies showing that coronavirus transmission to household members was reduced by approximately half after at least one jab. The UN independent expert on Myanmar has called for a COVID ceasefire on healthcare workers as infections and deaths soar. Special Rapporteur Tom Andrews alleged on Tuesday that junta forces had committed 260 attacks against medical personnel and facilities, causing at least 18 deaths. Meanwhile, more than 600 healthcare professionals are eluding arrest warrants and at least 67 have been detained, Mr. Andrews said in a statement. Too many in Myanmar have needlessly perished and too many more will die without action by the United Nations, he warned, before urging the Security Council to demand that Myanmar's military rulers stop all attacks, particularly against healthcare professionals. Refugees have never needed more protection, top UN Refugee Agency official Filippo Grandi said on Wednesday, marking the 70th anniversary of the 1951 Refugee Convention. In an appeal to all countries to recommit to the spirit and fundamental principles of the treaty, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees insisted that thanks to the convention, millions of lives have been saved. Mr. Grandi expressed alarm at recent attempts by unnamed governments to disregard or circumvent the Convention's principles. This included expulsions and pushbacks of refugees and asylum seekers at land and sea borders, and proposals to forcibly transfer them for processing to third states without proper protection safeguards. The language of the Convention is clear as to the rights of refugees and remains applicable in the context of contemporary and unprecedented challenges and emergencies, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, the UN Refugee Agency chief said. The 1951 Refugee Convention was born after 26 states met in Geneva to finalise the text of the treaty. The Convention and the 1967 Protocol, which broadened its scope, define who is a refugee and what protection, assistance and rights they have. Katie Dartford, UN News.